All right, friends, it appears that we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome
Hello.
to the
Hey.
Sidepod. I am here from the land of David Coulthard in Scotland, reporting live
Mm.
from the United Kingdom. I've picked up an accent already. Very nice to
It's pretty
be
good.
here. It's the only accent I can do properly. But welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. We could have done this with Rohan Joshi on Wednesday, but we thought it was emergency given the stuff that has gone on. I just
Mm.
have to say that I am
We need
here
to talk
in
about the elephant in the room.
yeah. So
Mm.
and I think to introduce that, I must say so I am here in Edinburgh for a clowning workshop. And having spent 2 days being trained in being a clown, I still feel inferior to Max Verstappen and what he has done to George Russell. I think we can begin right there. Actually, you know what? We'll also get Rohan Joshi thoughts
Mm.
because he sent us a video. I'm going to play the video and then we will continue with our thoughts. Video should play now-ish.
Hi, friends. Sorry I can't be there today. I am unfortunately out of town and couldn't. But I saw the race yesterday, and I guess all I have to say is, Max, what? Like, look, I feel like on this podcast we oscillate between this guy is a stone cold racing killer, and I think this guy might be a murderer. Like, there may be actual sociopathy. Like, the Max Verstappen scale needs serious recalibration from, like, is this guy just a good racing driver, or is he the Zodiac killer? Like, genuinely. Aside from his age, the only thing that is age is the only thing that is prevent us from saying that this guy is the Zodiac killer. Okay. Also, I now understand why the Red Bull team was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be streaming games on the same weekend that you're racing," because I think he can no longer tell the difference between when he's in a freaking sim race and when he's in an actual race. So I guess, brother, calm down, okay? Like, just relax. Remember, you are Max Verstappen, not Joss Verstappen. Please, thank you, and good night.
All right, there we have it. These are the thoughts of Rohan Joshi, who unfortunately couldn't be here. But man, it was such an interesting race up till that point. Like, it had been coming up to a nice little boiling point. Things were looking like happening. Obviously, safety car and all of that. You can understand the circumstances. But what, yeah, Max? What? What are your thoughts, guys?
I think it was
Oh,
definitely petulant and childish behavior, unbecoming of an F1 driver. I'm, of course, talking about the Lance Stroll incident. The bust up that he had in his garage after qualifying, apparently, is the reason behind which he didn't take the race.
huh, so
On
this
Max,
I
I
did
have,
not know. Huh, so
Oh,
this
I
I
didn't know
don't
this
know. Huh,
either.
I
Yeah,
don't
what's
have
going on?
context
Fill
with
us
this. So
in.
yeah, please tell us because I missed a lot of this weekend.
Yeah, no. So Lance Stroll basically qualified on Saturday, half a second behind uh, Fernando Alonso, and he was apparently, allegedly, this is like some of the news reports that have sort of come out, is that like he was really frustrated and he went back to the garage and he like starts throwing things around, insulting team members and things like that,
Lance
and he
Stroll,
sort of storms
Rainmaster
out of
Stroll.
yeah,
Oh
Rainmaster
my.
Stroll. And then it's also like considered that he had that like wrist injury. So the thing is like maybe his wrist injury was sort of playing up and this frustration together. But because of that, then he misses the race on Sunday. And because he did qualifying on Saturday, they couldn't get a reserve
Get
driver
another
or
driver.
anybody
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
in or whatever for this. And like, we'll come to the Max thing very quickly, but there's this very interesting situation wherein next the next race is Canada, and if
Oh.
Verstappen, if sorry, Stroll cannot get fixed up before Canada, which is like 2 weeks from now, then the two Aston reserve drivers are Stoffel Van Dorn and Felipe Dragovic, both of whom are at Le Mans the same weekend. So they are
Oh.
also not
Oh,
available.
oh.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
dude,
Now,
this is going to be, I can already picture it. It's
hear
going
me
to
out.
be, yeah.
Hear me out. We cut to a serene honey farm in rural Germany. Okay, a man is in a bee mask. He is carefully extracting honey from whatever that honey capturing device is called, and bees are circling around him, and they're making a sound. And it's exactly that sound that Armin van Buren found out with Ranveer Singh. And it's like sting or whatever that reel that they put out was. And the audio editing now then makes it sound like it's the engine of an F1 car. And he lifts up his face mask and we see the glorious blonde face of Sebastian Vettel. Guys, guys,
Mm.
Oh,
did I just write the new F1 movie?
oh,
Except it's like
I
Wow.
was
two,
going,
two
I
old
was
guys this
going,
time.
I was actually going more Bollywood, which I thought it's going to be two reserve drivers driving and one Fernando Alonso going to be astride with one leg each.
Yeah,
I was complete opposite
yeah.
of your plot. Oh man.
Yeah, but very interesting situation developing at Aston. But let's get back to
Yeah, all
the
right.
real elephant in the room and
Also, yeah, so please,
what we think about.
first of all, smash a like if you're here. And please subscribe if you are not subscribed. Also, check out our Instagram where with every passing week, our predictions get worse and worse. And
Oh my
somehow the
God.
views keep
Oh no.
increasing. So I don't know at this point whether we should
Yeah, and
focus
also
on improving.
if you're watching the reel from here, please go and educate people that they are meant to be bad predictions and not actual predictions.
There is no
Yeah.
educating the internet, Sherry. It is what it is.
Oh,
The comments on that are not good for my
yeah,
mental health, guys.
yeah,
That's
Yeah, yeah, I
definitely
know.
not.
I post
so
and I don't look at it ever again. I just see the views. I'm like, chalo, acha views. Because see, the thing
yeah.
is, you're getting followers from that. No, and those are the people we
Yes,
care
of
about. The
course.
people who follow
Of
us from there.
course. Mm.
And who are
Well
new
said,
to
Azeem.
this. Yes, and also I think we've crossed the 100 mark with sales for the Austrian Grand
Yay.
Prix screening. The link for that is in the description if you want to come and join the Austrian Grand Prix screening with us in Mumbai. You can just get the tickets, and we'll probably list them on Book My Show later. So yeah, it's very cool. We've completely organic just from this stream. People have bought
Crazy.
tickets, so it's going to be proper
Thank you,
Sidepod
guys.
OGs who are going to be there.
Yeah.
So very nice. Now, qualifying
Mm.
again was interesting. I think the gulf between the McLarens and the rest of the field right now, I think, was so clear to see. And where we thought, oh, flexi wing. Now I found out that the people who were abusing flexi wing was Williams because they were. I think that was their strategy. They're like as much flexi wing as we can we can use for the first 8 races. We're gonna get all our
Yeah.
points
The
because it
points.
was.
Yeah,
But in fairness, they were trying to do flexi wings in the race also because they kept breaking the front wing
yeah. Breaking their
every five
wings.
laps. So yeah,
Yeah.
not terrible, terrible
It
race
was
for Williams.
reminiscent of one of those like really expensive weekends for Williams, like Zandvoort,
Yeah,
where just like everything is constantly breaking, you know.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
a fairly ill-tempered Grand Prix weekend overall. Like
Yeah.
lots of like
Yeah.
Lance Stroll punching
Yeah.
walls,
Mm.
or whatever he's doing. Max doing
So
what
he
he did.
injured his wrist punching something or breaking, like throwing something or
He
something.
had previously injured his wrist,
Allegedly.
and
Ah, that was the
Allegedly.
previously injured
that's
2 years ago,
allegedly,
no?
But this has
वो वाला
aggravated the
wrist.
injury.
Who knows? But basically, that's a
Guys, in
very
chat,
very strange situation.
please speculate
Yeah,
Yeah.
what
what
Lance
happened?
Stroll did to break his hand again, and
Also, I
keep it
have to
PG-13.
say that I have been sick all weekend and I am hacking away and I'm sitting here with my Samahan because I could
Oh,
not miss
Samahan.
this stream because
Mm.
it's my chance to talk about Mad Max after a
Yes,
while.
your prophecy comes
Yeah,
true again.
true. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he just like
Finally.
when you
I've
have
waited a while
those,
for this,
yeah,
for this
that.
Mm.
sweet moment.
So people are saying Stroll hurt his hand signing checks. People are saying wrist injury doing something. Abhi now you need to be more specific than that. But again, PG-13.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
But it is a moment that, like, the moment with Russell on track
Mm,
is one of those moments that we will sort of be talking about for a few years. It isn't the standard Max being aggressive wala moment.
this is
Like with Max, you
petulant.
yeah.
always, yeah, this was a little bit more than that. And
And
it is one of those moments which we get in F1 once every decade or
yeah,
so, which you see on track and you're like, that's what that guy's real character is. Like that's what that guy really is
yeah.
like. Once in a while, when you see this on track, like it's it's showing you like what this racer is in sort of real life, where the frustration sort of boils over or whatever. But very, 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 very tasty, in terms of
Yeah.
outcome. And what do we think about the outcome? What do we think about a 10-second penalty
I
for
think he
something
should
that
have
seemed
gotten more.
deliberate?
I think he should have gotten more.
What is the
I,
extremist penalty that you would give him, Sharishroff?
I'd
And
say
just
a
as
race,
context, in
one race ban,
1997,
yeah, one race
in, nine-
ban.
in 1997, when Michael Schumacher did the same thing to Jacques Villeneuve in Jerez, this is also like the context of 1995 doing this to Damon Hill and like,
Yeah.
this thing.
yeah.
He was stripped of all the points from the championship that year.
Oh
So that is
yeah.
the extremist also that it sort of can go to. And 10-second penalty is probably the least.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I mean
think
it's the
so.
And
bare
I mean,
minimum and the penalty points
yeah,
and all of that also. But yeah, I mean it was one of
one
those
race
like
ban would have been fair, I think, in the situation.
I would have thought I think what Nico Rosberg said of like basically black flagging him
dude,
Huh.
straight up
Nico
for
Rosberg this
Oh,
race. Oh, saltiest best. If you were
but
listening
he's
to
always
the
salty. He's never not
yeah, but
salt.
this one it was like,
he's always,
classic
yeah.
Nico. Yeah, but this was classic Nico Rosberg. Some amazing moments, especially with that. Like he was like Crofty was trying to like be like, no, no, Nico, don't say black flag and all of that. Or whatever. Like take it easy, like yeah, that kind of thing. But Nico was his saltiest best. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was damn good that way. It was so much drama. Like I mean, for the first
Yeah.
60 laps of the race, it was one race, and then the last 6 laps of the race, it was like
Yeah.
as Lando Norris described it, Mario Kart. You know.
Yeah, yeah, completely. And I mean, it's quite disappointing considering he did all the right things for the rest of the race. Like he got the good start, made the pass, like fair pass on Lando, got the good start. When he knew he didn't have the tires, he didn't unnecessarily fight from Lando. He didn't pull any
Totally.
nonsense on him. But yeah, I guess I think the it was like almost that triple injustice you would have to say, where number one put on a tire that he didn't want to be on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Number two then gets hit by Leclerc, which I mean there is something to be said for that as well. Not that I
a
mean
little bit, but
I
yeah,
think
I
some
feel
kind
like
of
it was more
warning
in
or
the
something. I think because he literally
racing incident, dude.
it was I was
He
waiting for
Leclerc,
Leclerc to say just an incident in the press
yeah, because he
conference.
was also like I was trying to get the slipstream of the
Slipstream,
car
yeah,
ahead and all of that,
yeah,
and it's instinctual. Like
Yeah.
it, I mean, even when you've played those racing games and everything, once you're
yeah.
alongside or slightly ahead, you're anyway moving towards the racing line. Like
Yeah,
I
I
kind
mean,
of feel it was in that
for
realm.
me, I was sort of agreed with Max and sort of was aggrieved about the fact that they were saying give the place back to Russell because
Back
I was
to
like,
Russell, yeah,
if
Hmm.
you're saying that him and Leclerc was a racing incident on a safety car restart, then I think him and Russell and him having to take avoiding action was also equally
100%.
racing incident. So I
And
can
they
see
agreed
why he
as
thought
well.
it was
Yeah.
unfair. So I don't think he got a penalty for that, and maybe he
Not at all.
potentially he wouldn't have got a penalty for that.
They mentioned
So.
it in the FIA sort of decision about it. They mentioned that they didn't give them a penalty. It was claimed a racing incident.
But
Uh,
we don't know whether that's
yeah.
because he let him go eventually or not. No.
Yeah, he let him go now that
No,
eventually.
they mentioned in the thing, like literally specifically with relation to the
Yeah.
first turn incident, like it's a racing incident. Like he didn't
Oh,
have to
okay.
hand the position back. That's I also sort of feel is indicative of the current kind of specificity about the rule
Hmm.
about being like
Yeah.
alongside the car's mirror, other cars mirror at the apex and everything, and
Right.
people taking that a little
Yeah,
too
it's you
literally and
can't police that
self-policing.
so yeah, you can't police that. I think and
Yeah.
genuinely I think post the so we had one extreme of the 2021 Michael Massey season where there was too much of open line of communication with the race director where he was like
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
as a making in the
yeah.
Saudi Arabia
Check
deal
my
या no
email,
deal.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, it was like, अच्छा चलो ठीक है, you want, we will give you second and we'll put
yeah,
Ocon third and whatever, like you, all
yeah,
that sort of monopoly deals was happening over there. But I
yeah.
think there needs to be some middle ground where you have to have the thing of, listen, the steward, like you have a line of communication to be like, okay, listen, stewards say that you need to give back the position or there will be a penalty. But the preemptive thing of trying to guess what the rule is,
What the
I think
yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't help anybody. And most certainly didn't help Max because I think it was mostly, I think, angst at the situation that the team put him in. I don't think
Yeah.
Russell did anything particularly wrong. I don't think Leclerc
Yeah.
did anything particularly wrong. I don't think until
But
he
I
rammed into Russell, Max did anything particularly wrong. So it's just one of those.
But I get that, but I mean, at some level, after so many years in the sport, you have to kind of be able to deal with it,
Oh,
right? Like, I
100%,
mean, there's
100%.
no thing to be like, okay, I'm gonna like throw this massive on-track tantrum and put everybody in danger and just ram whoever I want to because like I'm in a mood. Like that's where I feel like
Yeah.
he I mean, I think they started A with the wrong tire, which only that when the minute they put the hards on, he was in a foul mood and he was ready to bite off whoever's head was
Yeah, yeah,
there.
100%.
And then when things weren't going his way, he was just like, you
It
know,
felt
like,
very unlike Red Bull, na, to put him on the hards, and it's very curious
yeah,
because
I don't know
I
apparently
why.
mean,
he
they didn't
had
have any
three
because the
sets of used softs.
yeah, they could have
But
just
then
He
kept
just
him
had
on
three
think
what
the
he
sets of
was
used
on.
softs.
he shouldn't have actually, yeah, he shouldn't have pitted for hards. They
Fitted,
should have just
yeah,
left
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Okay,
So I feel
guys,
like
sorry,
it's
I'm just going
also
to
it's
do one thing where I may be soft for a bit, but carry on. I'm just gonna,
oh,
I'm on the wrong device. Continue.
yeah. So it kind of felt like very unlike the strategy calls that
Huh.
Red Bull usually makes it.
Yeah,
In fact, actually, it felt a little Ferrari-esque. It's like
Yeah.
everybody is on soft, and like Charles Leclerc is on hards for some reason.
yeah,
And with
exactly.
Ferrari, you're like, oh, you know, pasta gun emoji sort of meme or whatever. But with Red Bull, this felt very unlike. And yes, like even if he had stayed out, like and taken the track position behind the safety car, I doubt that he would have been able to keep the McLarens behind. But with 6 laps to go, I mean,
Hmm.
certainly the Ferrari, he could have defended the Ferrari and the Mercedes behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it felt very
Oh,
unlike Red Bull.
yeah. Sorry, I think now I have fixed my audio correctly. I was wrong on the wrong audio microphone only was connected for the OBS. So yeah, my audio will be good now. A very valid point brought up in the chat by Shalin Sahai, who's one of our members. BT Dubs friends, you all can take memberships if you all want to help us pay for our staff, which is mainly Amanat, who edits our lit reels. So if you want to help us out, help us with the membership. But yeah, valid point. Where is Sumbri mein Komdi Russell? We need a chat from him. 100% agree. Sumbri mein Komdi Russell,
Mm,
Yeah,
wherever you are,
yeah.
please let us know. And even if you're not
yeah,
watching
please, you
live, please
can't
leave a
leave us
comment.
today.
Yeah,
Yes.
because actually, real Russell's post-race comment was super diplomatic. Like, actually,
Yeah,
it
oh
was like
God.
very,
Yes, very, very.
very like not really playing it down, but also not really like hype, like making a too big a
So
deal
I
out of it
found
for
it quite
somebody who's just been
No,
interesting.
like
but
bumped
then
on
he
the track.
said, now one more. Also, he said that it was such a bad example for kids watching and all that. I mean,
That
there was a
yes,
bit of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like that he's a bad role model kind
yeah.
of angle.
A
I
little
don't
bit of
think,
that was
yeah, but I
also
don't
a
think that's
subtext.
ever
Yeah,
been his agenda to be good role model or bad role model. But it was so
I also
weird
kind of
because I
feel
had
like
a
yeah,
Huh. Let me
yeah,
just
say
continue finish this.
yeah,
I also saw one of the reels show up of basically the battle between them, and then it was Russell speaking at a press conference, and I was like, wow, this guy's going really hard at Max. But what he's saying is fully justified, 100% agree. And then it was actually the previous time they had this thing where he's like, he
yeah,
does these things when things are not going his way, and he does like
right,
borderline
yeah.
Yeah,
violent
yeah.
behavior. And I was like, this
Which-
was like
yeah.
almost prophetic now in the sense that you felt
Yeah.
maybe he was overreacting a little bit the last time, but now, in fact, he's underreacting to what went on because this was assault straight up. There's no, for
But he
no
has
reason
this
also.
pattern, na? No, but I think he has this pattern where if he has beef with someone, like when it was Lewis versus Max, it was like you could see. We've discussed this earlier also that he would be much easier on other drivers, even in. But Lewis and him somehow he was much more aggressive, or would
Yeah.
push him off or
Yeah.
whatever. But and I think now Russell is that guy for him right now because he's got beef with him. He doesn't like him, and he's like, I'm gonna do something. Like he can't control himself.
I mean, I think it could have been
Yeah.
anybody, even if it wasn't Russell. I think at that moment his beef was just with the universe. And like,
So
I'm
I
on
don't
these
think
Yeah,
shit
it was.
yeah.
tires.
I think it was like of all people, ये नहीं जाने वाला है.
No, it was
I
obviously
think
it is
there's
the
some
fact
part
that
of it which is
Russell
Russell.
in his mind pushed him off the track and then gained the position. So now that was
Hmm.
the
Now
comeuppance.
I'm,
So
Like
yeah,
a tit
taste
for
of your
tat
own
kind of was,
medicine.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
it's a
Like you shove
classic
me, I'll
open
shove you
lobby.
kind of switch. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And also the way he did it was very like gentle but made a point. Like in the sense it was impactful but made a point. It wasn't like, it didn't destroy the cars. That's again, like, even when he's bumping people, he's
Yeah,
got that precision
precision.
where he's going to make a point, like, but he's not going to like put it too far or whatever, where he's taken off the side pod or he's taken off the rear
Yeah,
wing or he's caused a puncture. They bumped and then they continued. It was like, I made my point and now I'm going to freaking continue and let's see what happens type of situation. It was actually a great take, which I saw. Like, I'm just like basically repeating Aditya, but our good friend's take on
hmm.
Instagram. He just posted a reel a few minutes ago, which was similar along these lines, where it's like, look, Max, we've this, like Sherry was saying, we've seen this in the past also many times, where he's like, willing to push it over the line. But in this instant, even when he was sort of pushing it over the line, he still sort of figured out a way wherein like a lesser driver may have caused way more
More
damage in a
drama, yeah.
situation that this. Like, I fear to see a Nicholas Latifi Lance Stroll on track beef. How is that going to play out? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Uh,
Like,
So his
what's gonna
unhinged
happen?
driving is also good drive.
It's also like, just about borderline, dude.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
like,
how like
yeah,
Kurla
yeah.
bikers, like they're bad, but they're good
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
at
but they,
being
yeah,
bad,
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like they
They
will
get from A
almost
to
die,
B
but they
first.
won't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they get
Uh,
from A to B first, like that's the, I
yeah,
think,
that's pretty
clear
much it.
takeaway.
So I
But do
think
you think
somebody
this is
said,
gonna change anything, like for him? You think that,
nah.
oh, no, no, in the sense of you think it's gonna make him angrier personally, or you think it's gonna make him take a step back and be like, what the fuck did I do? Like,
I
I don't know.
don't
Like, as
think
in,
honestly
I
because
mean,
I
he
think
already posted a sort of apology,
hmm,
sort of,
which,
is
what
yeah,
did he
being
so
too
say?
word. Like, I mean,
it's very timid. He said, I have it here somewhere. Um, Our tire choice at the end and some moves after the safety car restart fueled my frustration, leading to a move that was not right and shouldn't have happened. I always give everything out there for the team, and emotions can run high. So he said it's not right and shouldn't have happened. And I suppose that's the gentlest way to sort of put it as well. And
That's
I
the
mean, to
most
say
apology
Sherry's
you'll get
point
from
on
Max.
from
yeah.
Max, like, yeah, it's the max you're going to get from Max. But I think to Sherry's point on like what this will change for him, and I think the overarching sort of thing with Max at this point in time in his career, you're like, hey, will this kind of on-track behavior end up being something that defines his legacy, so to speak, as a driver and as like a competitive athlete at the top of his game on track and everything. So I mean, maybe I doubt it will change his behavior at all. But like I think like when you take a step back and you look at the overall picture of Max, you also just like, to be fair, all of the greats, Senna, Schumacher, you name it, all of the drivers that have had like red mist moments in the sport or whatever. But you're like, hey, with the frequency at which it seems to be happening and like the frustration sort of building, is this something that's going to negatively impact the legacy of his career? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I
I
think
mean,
so. I think unless he kind of like I mean eventually, like right now he's still doing well. I feel like
Yeah.
obviously he cannot do badly, right? Like the minute he's in
Cannot
that
do badly.
position,
Yeah.
the minute he's in that
Yeah.
position, he starts getting frustrated and he can't cope
Yeah.
with it and these things start happening. Like I mean,
Yeah.
you see it. Like the minute
Yeah.
something goes wrong, it's all starts to unravel and that's how it's happened in the past. That's how there's a pattern clearly, a trigger. So I feel like, and no one can always be at the top, okay? Like he's had a great run and whatever. And now,
Yeah.
as we are
Yeah.
seeing, McLaren's
Yeah.
having a great run. And as things are not working out, you're seeing this more and more. And I
yeah,
think that when the lows are around, we're gonna see a lot of this from him. But then again, when the highs are there, we're all praising him and saying, "Oh my God, he's robotic. He's
I mean,
amazing. He
like
makes no mistakes."
Azim was saying, the first 60 laps of the race, if he
Yeah,
had ended P3, if the
exactly.
safety car had not
Yeah,
happened and he had ended P3, we'd be saying, wow, that dude, like he went on the most aggressive
yeah,
strategy possible,
Yeah.
was the hunter
exactly.
for the whole of the
Yeah.
race. What a
That's the
legend.
knife edge you
So
get
But
now with
uh,
Max Verstappen.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I do feel like now, as things are not looking so great at the Red Bull end, that you will see
Mm.
more of this. And then
Mm.
obviously his legacy is going to be tainted by Mad Max, because it's obviously, I mean, you can see how excited we are all at Mad Max is back. I
But
mean,
guys, if he's doing all
Mm.
this, then what should Sonoda be doing in his car? He should be
he should
crashing
be
into
doing
everybody
something, Bichara.
left, right, center. Poor fellow. Again, like, dude, I
I've been
watched the
seeing all
onboard
these
of his
memes
lap.
about like
Means,
I've been watching, seeing all these memes about Isaac Hadjar performing so well that he
yeah,
may be
yeah.
demoted to Red Bull. You know, like yeah,
He's
like
probably
what?
scared. He's probably like, "Oh my
Yeah,
There is a
God,
meme
don't
of
put me
that.
in that seat, bro, please."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think at this
yeah,
point, what the best solution is to actually promote Max to the RB
racing bulls.
team. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
get
yeah,
him a
yeah,
nice
yeah.
because if Hajar is doing
So
that in
yeah,
that car, I think Max can
that
easily put it on pole, yeah,
is
every week.
100%.
I
Yeah.
think that's the solution. Ki now you're going to see Max moving there, and then as Hajar, and so you'll see Max and Lawson now, the original lineup that was planned for
Like
Red
that's
Bull,
yeah,
now in
yeah, yeah,
RB,
yeah, yeah.
and Hajar and Tsunoda driving for Red Bull.
Oh shit!
Guys,
What a
you heard it
crazy
here
prediction
first.
reel
Wait
that
for
would have
it.
been. Yeah, yeah.
You heard it here
But
first. It's
it's
gonna happen.
but overall, I think there was a lot of like drama and like this race, right? Like, and it went badly for so many people. Like, it just wasn't
I
like,
think like honestly, it was a very interest. I was for some reason before the start of this race, I was like, shit, this is going to be an interesting race. And the one thing that was putting me on that sort of thing was it's a high deg track. You know, like basically
yeah,
suddenly we had 2 and 3 pit stop strategies. And so you saw
yeah,
lots of interesting overtaking. You know, even Max did one insane overtake on Kimi
Yes.
Antonelli.
yeah.
That was really, really good. Alonso was overtaking people like we should talk about
Alonso
Alonso,
points.
guys. We should yeah, we should talk about Alonso, but separately. Like, I mean, so I feel like as soon as we got into that space where suddenly it's not a straight up one stop race and it's like 2 stops, 3 stops, and everything, then you see those tire
Yeah,
differentials really play out on the track. And
Yeah.
that I think like gave us lots of tastiness. It kept us wondering till the end what the sort of final order could be because you don't know what the pit stop strategies are, you know where other people's tires are and everything. So I kind of feel like the whole race as a whole gave us a lot of action start to finish because like after the first 10 laps, people were already going into the pits for like early, you know,
yeah.
3 stop strategies and things like it was crazy. I think some drivers did 4 stops after the safety car, like came out and like they had
Yeah,
already done
Max
three.
was
So,
4 stops
you know,
by the time the same,
yeah,
which is why
exactly.
they didn't have any tires left. I think they'd used up all the mediums in free practice. So it was
Mm.
just 3 softs and one hard, which I mean, no, I think yeah, 3 softs, yeah, three sets of softs and one medium that they used in the race, and then of course they were forced into the hard. So yeah, it was always going to be difficult for him. Oh, we have somebody, my comedy Russell has arrived. He says
Oh,
कोमड़ी के एक
Oh,
welcome.
wow.
दिसने से
What's up,
जो
buddy?
इतना तड़फड़ता है वो शेर जंगल का नहीं एक सर्कस का है इसके सामने तो रिक्शा वाले का मेंटालिटी चैंपियनशिप वाला है justifiable
Whoa.
justifiable
Whoa.
Russell ji
Truth bombs. Truth bombs.
justifiable
Mm.
and Sai Krishna says being stuck with old tires and getting overtaken after a restart Hamilton saying first time
Oh,
also
yeah.
hilarious Max was also driver of the day which is even
Driver of the
better.
day. Yeah.
Oh,
He says
really? Wow.
Hulkenberg robbed.
Yeah.
How's Hulkenberg robbed? He was fifth, no?
From driver of the day. I mean,
Oh,
Hulkenberg
driver.
finished
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, right,
P5.
yeah,
right, right.
yeah, yeah,
From
yeah.
driver, like
Come on, yeah.
Hulkenberg,
Yeah, and
like, I mean, at least one person got his prediction right. I think Rohan had
yeah,
Rowan,
like
yeah, he
predicted
kept
that
that
is
saying,
the
"I will
Sauber.
keep
tragedy.
Yeah.
keep predicting." So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the tragedy of this stream that
Like,
there's no
but
Rohan
what a
Joshi on the day.
shit race for Lewis again, man.
oh
Like,
man.
I saw this reel of him in tears after the race, and it just broke my heart. I was
Really, he
like,
was
it's just
crying,
Oh,
like, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
about
Like
the
he
result.
put his visor up, and he's like literally wiping his eyes and stuff. It was quite like sad. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
seriously sad. Like, I mean, I don't know what, like they're just getting everything wrong, and it's just some like it's not working, and it's just
I mean, he
really
had that
like,
ignominy from the start itself. Like, I think lap six, they tell him, 6 or 7, they tell him to let
yeah,
Leclerc through
yeah, let
first.
Leclerc through.
And
And
Yeah,
again,
then
wasted so much
onwards, he
time
just
doing
seems
that
to
for no reason.
do his.
yeah.
Faltu mein you've cost Leclerc like 5 seconds for nothing.
That's classic Ferrari. That you have to give them. We are checking type of Ferrari on the strategy. You have to sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I saw the Sky Sports interview with Lewis as well after the
Yeah,
race, and
yeah, yeah.
that also seemed like really like
Where he's just
down
like,
and
what do
out
you
and
want me to
morose.
say? I like it's just everything is
Yeah.
horrible.
And then he was kind of like, what would you attribute this to, like this lack of pace and everything? And like, what has the team given you anything or whatever? And he's like, no, it's probably me, is what he says at the
Oh
end. And I'm
no.
like, oh,
He's
like,
going full
what's up,
Lando
bro?
now.
Yeah,
Like, you need a hug.
he's
Need a hug right
definitely
now.
having a very like low down situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was very visible. I mean, even in his driving, I think, but you could see towards the end of the race, he was just done. Like, as in, he was like, in
Hmm.
that like that
Yeah.
there's nothing left, which is
Do you
really
think he
sad
needs?
because I mean, we were also needs me, yeah.
But
No, no. Yeah, I mean, so actually, on the same lines, I think he needs a new race engineer. I think he needs a new race
he needs
engineer with more like better energy, better vibes for him. Like Ricky is not
to.
cutting it.
I can bring
Yeah.
better vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think he needs like I say he needs some different completely different energy from Ricky. Like
Different
I think he
energy.
needs like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
like not Italian energy. I think he needs like
Yeah,
not
Hmm.
male energy also now anymore. I
yeah.
think he needs that
Hmm.
Ocon's
I
race
think
engineer.
he needs Sherry energy.
Yeah, Sherry,
Ah,
that's what I was
yes.
saying. You
Yeah,
just
sure.
want
Yeah.
I think you need
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
there as
Yeah.
as his race engineer saying, Lewis, yeah, come on, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. And every time he's asking you about the status of the race, you're like, yeah, yeah, Max is about to crash. Max is about something, like Max is about to take somebody out or whatever, giving him this kind of like motivational information. Yeah, you can totally see it happen.
But guys, I know the
Hmm.
real reason why Max has been so cranky is because listen,
Right?
he's just had a
He's
kid.
not
Yeah, वो ऐसे
sleeping.
बीच
Yeah.
रात में ऐसा you have to wake up and feed the kid and all of that.
No,
Then
I thought you were saying
he
he
has to
just
leave his
he's been sim
sim
racing.
race and go and
Sim racing. Yeah, go and be a dad.
I think
Yeah.
here he forgot which was the sim race and which was the real race for
Race,
the day.
real race. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I
Little
did have a
pity.
little bit of that, right? Like where you're like, these are the kind of moments where some of those comparisons then like become, just the talking point of like
Hmm.
who Max is as a driver, and it's like then you're like shit. Like he's all I honestly don't think, for example, this moment will like define his legacy at all. Like I think it will put him like in any of those sort of flawed greats that we have always had in the
Yeah,
sport
yeah.
or whatever. Like I don't think he's going to push it over the line beyond this. But there's little things about like the nuances of his character where you're like shit, like you said, Azeem, like was he playing a sim race in real life in those kind of situations? And that tends to be one of the talking points around Max through the time. But it definitely feels like, again, unbecoming of a four-time world champion. But then,
Yeah.
like, you're like, look, like, he's human, it's like all, all of us are like that. And he's just like, puts it on the line or slightly over the line as much as he can.
Yeah, but I
But
mean
I
Yeah.
he's just
think
so
that's
stupid.
him. Like I think it's gonna happen
Yeah.
every like few years, if not months. I mean, at least we're gonna
Yeah.
see some kind of situation like this, and we're just gonna rule it out as, oh, it's Mad Max, so Mad Max is back, and
No, but the thing is
make a
that,
joke about it, and then it moves back.
what I just don't understand is that, it's not like towards the, it's not desperation time yet, in the sense that, okay,
Yeah,
when you saw him
exactly.
doing all the desperate stuff in 21,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was towards
yeah.
the end of
Yeah.
the season.
It was
And
really
when,
tight.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, there he was like, okay, you fight for every inch because every inch matters. And
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was the stuff in Brazil that he went and forced Lewis off track. There was all the drama in Saudi Arabia, but that was like literally like the last sort of three races
For the championship. Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, over
Yeah.
here, if you just okay, fine, you're going to end up fourth or fifth, it's okay. But those 10 points that you would get could matter in the
Yeah.
end. Like if you suddenly get a package upgrade and then suddenly you're at par
Yeah.
with those McLarens. And
McLaren's.
again, we keep saying this, like it's just you have to keep yourself in that sort of one DNF window
Hmm.
of the people
Hmm.
ahead of you, which now I
Now
think
he's
he's
in a
fallen
2
quite.
DNF window.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like,
Like
yeah, for
49
like a good
But
points.
40 points,
also,
50 points off.
you think there's still drama internally at Red Bull, which is also making it worse for him because he claims to be getting calls from everyone and all. All we're seeing in the media is, oh, this one called me, that one called me, this one couldn't afford me. Like, there's all these, like, I mean, conversations,
That's
which,
always going to
earlier
be
we
there.
never saw. No, but I feel like it's a lot more now than earlier, right? Like, I mean, literally earlier we had like what at best Toto talking about, calling Max, and
I
that was
think
it.
still
But I
like the
think now
biggest
it's like
connections are with Mercedes, like with from on the
and
team
Aston
chatters.
apparently.
Mercedes and Aston seem to be the two
Yeah.
biggest, like sort of this thing. I doubt he's going to any other team in terms of, if he had to move as well. But there may be something to what you're saying, Sherry, about like the discomfort or whatever's happening
Like,
behind the
when
scenes at the team.
things are going terribly at
Yeah.
home, kids act out at school. You know what I mean? Like that kind.
I mean,
I mean,
honestly,
yeah, again,
the
like,
yeah,
you can see it play out. Like, again, the sort of weird strategy call on the
Exactly.
coming
Like
out on
like
the
where he
hard
was
and
almost like, what is
like
this tire?
that's
Like, what have you
yeah,
put me
that's
on?
more a team sort of situation. Just in general, the recent frustrations on the radio with the team as well.
And he's
Maybe something
constantly
to it, but I
saying the
don't know. Like,
car's
I mean,
terrible, right? Like I don't think he's
yeah.
like in the like throughout he's complaining like
But
off
like we
even
were
in
saying, I
Monaco you
mean,
heard him.
we said it last time as well. Like the dude is still making sure that this is the
Yeah.
second fastest car on track.
I
Like
mean
I mean,
he's
he's still putting it there
yeah.
on the front row or just off the front row all the time. In the race, even in this race, he seemed like a threat, even with the super
yeah,
aggressive
yeah.
three-stop
Yeah,
strategy.
yeah.
So I think like even if the frustrations within the team sort of brew, I think Max, being the racer that he is still going to consider where he would have the biggest chance of winning. And
Yeah.
currently, I don't think the Mercedes or the Aston are anywhere near giving him that confidence that like, oh shit, if I move there, I can take this, I can be a championship contender regularly. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
at
know.
this
I mean,
point,
that's
the
my take
only
on it.
team that
Yeah.
looks like they've got their shit down is McLaren, and
McLaren,
Red
yeah.
Yeah.
Bull is the closest second
Hello,
in
we
that
should talk
sense.
about Oscar Piastri, by the
Oh
way. Like, I mean,
yeah.
dude, I
Stone
mean, he's
Cold
Sherry's
Steve
new
Oscar.
favorite, but like,
Hmm.
so
I mean,
good. Yeah.
too good.
Like,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
was just
that
seeing
guy
one.
has just got it,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, mentally, and as we discussed, like, of all all of them, I think he's just so sorted. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
mad
And
respect.
feel like the improvement that we're seeing with him during the race is insane. Like last year, he finished Barcelona like P7. He was like
Yeah.
30 seconds behind Lando Norris. And we're like, Norris definitely, like through the course of the year, you're like, hey, he's improving. But Norris definitely has the, has it over him during the races. And this year, like this performance was like a clinic. Like in one
Yeah.
year, like it's a total turnaround. He nailed the qualifying, nailed the start, like side through the traffic whenever he had to. Safety car restart, no problem. Like there was not a single moment where you're like, the race lead is looking under threat. Even with Max behind him at the start and everything. So, like, hats off to that dude. Like, literally, this is, again, I was seeing it
My
somewhere. This is
my
like
money
only
is
his
on
third
him.
season in F1.
Yeah.
Like, Everybody's money should be on him. Like it's only his third season in F1. Another interesting stat: he is one of only two other McLaren drivers to have 8 podiums in a row. The other two being Ayrton Senna and Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like 8 podiums in a freaking row. Like dude is like killing it. His bad weekends are great.
Third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third. So it's also like he seemed like who would bet against him right now, like for the world championship? Like I don't see like Lando again, poor start. By the way, did you
Yeah.
notice that the start of the race was like damn fast? Like it's like
Yeah, yeah.
the
It's good
five
now.
lights
It should
came
keep them
on
on
and
their
then
toes.
it's
Like,
Yeah.
like blink. Yeah, they were totally on their toes. But once again, Lando Norris like sort of had the poor start, got swamped. At one point, it's looking like Russell
Russell might
might
also go.
also
Yeah.
overtake him and everything. So who's to bet against Oscar Piastri at this point? And hats off to that dude. Like, I mean, crazy. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Aussie world champion incoming.
Listen, now that we have predicted
Mm.
here, it's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, Arjun, you have cursed poor Oscar now.
Yeah,
It's
fuck it.
over.
Yeah,
Sorry,
fuck it.
guys. Apologies to all
Fuck,
Piastri
fuck.
fans. We ended his
Yeah,
title
If
challenge
yeah.
for today.
if
Actually, I'll tell you who's going to win the world championship now, and you're going to see the greatest comeback of all time, and it's the king himself, Fernando Alonso. Fin-
oh
What world champ? Arjun,
Finally,
this is too much now.
yeah.
finally, I feel like these 2 points, like everybody's been shitting on him. This is the worst season you've had since the time you started, Fernando. And this is the unluckiest you have been, Fernando. And Monaco also, like he saw, and like even this race, at the start of the race, he goes
Yeah,
off into
puts
the
it into
gravel
the
and he
gravel.
loses like, you're like,
Yeah.
what is going on? But then, guys, this is the turnaround story. As you can tell today, I'm in a very filmy sort of mood, like very high
Yes.
octane sort of situation where there's dramatic, like high dramatic turnaround going to happen. And I believe Fernando Alonso is going to give us that turnaround, guys. Like these 2 points, it would have been one, but then he got two because of Max. That penalty. Like, I see it happening. We're going to see a rejuvenated Fernando Alonso WDC 2025, guys. You heard it here first.
I'm glad that
Guys,
I'm not the only Delulu person on this podcast with hopes
listen,
of
I am
someone
biggest
who's
Alonso fan here.
not
Even I
winning the
am like, what is this?
championship to be winning the championship.
I- you know, and with
Listen,
his, and as I earlier predicted, his teammate being Sebastian
I mean,
Vettel, like for the
Arjun,
rest of the
even
season.
I have moved on to Piastri for this year.
my
This is
God,
it, guys. You're going to see it. Yeah.
this is crazy. Okay, we have a couple of more super
Yeah.
chats. We have Papa Joss who says, "मैं Max को बोला
Mm.
गुस्सा है ठोक दे भिड़ू," which
Oh.
seems also like something that would happen. And again, Sumri
Yeah.
the comedy Russell says, और ये मर्सिडीज कौन से झोपड़े से अपना इंजन बना रहा है, मेरा बच्चा किमी का हालत देख के बहुत गुस्सा आया जो मैक्स ने थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस किया. Yeah, that's also, I mean, yeah, we didn't
This
talk about Kimi, an unfortunate end to his race again.
and third consecutive reliability issue
Yeah, which
Yeah.
for
doesn't happen
Mercedes.
for Mercedes ever.
Just freaking doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like you are like that car is rock solid. Nothing is gonna happen. But then happened in Imola, happened to Russell in qualifying in Monaco, and happened here as well. Like I mean, shit. I feel really bad for Kimi Antonelli because in my prediction, clearly, like I predicted,
Yeah.
like he's gonna
Yes.
come back from, the disappointment. It's gonna be a podium, guys. Like Kimi
I
Antonelli,
mean, just say he'd also win WDC shared with Alonso. Go for it.
yeah, share it with the yeah. Yeah. There's
But also,
interesting
guys,
Alonso. Like every time you pointed to Alonso on track, some interesting action was going on. Like constantly, he was like,
yeah.
he was having battles with the compatriot Carlos Sainz. He was
Because
having
I
battles
think
with
he was
Lawson.
thinking this is
This
the
Lawson
last
again
time I'm
hits
going to
him and
be
goes away.
racing here.
Yeah,
That's
Lawson
why
and
he was having a
Alonso.
great battle.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Lawson, how much he had one big adventure, huh? Like he hit two cars going to turn one,
Yeah,
then
but
that
he never
entire
got
blue
any
flag thing.
penalties. That's the thing, right? A lot of people were saying that it's unfair because like he got away with everything. There was no penalties for him.
Now
Yeah,
they're like,
strange.
it's
That's
fine.
the
Like they were
thing
paying
with the
attention to
stewards.
Max.
I know, but I'm saying with the stewards, I feel like they're so inconsistent, which is really
Yeah.
annoying because I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of the times I get where
Yeah.
you're coming from, that oh, way back there doesn't really matter or
Yeah.
whatever, but I mean the point is a penalty is a penalty, right? Like I mean
But
it,
by the way, just like, and on your point of Stewart's inconsistency, it just came to me. Russell in Monaco for cutting that chicane got a drive-through penalty.
hmm,
Yeah.
Okay, for cutting that chicane, he got a
yes, yeah,
drive-through.
yeah, yeah,
And here, Max for intentionally bumping the dude gets a 10-second penalty.
yeah.
Like, again, it just kind of feels like the punishment didn't
It
fit the
doesn't make any
crime.
sense,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's
In
why
either of
I
the
feel like they
situations.
really
Yeah.
need to make these penalties a little clearer. Like
I
I
think
mean every year we
AI
say
is the
this because
solution,
it's
guys.
just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's just so strange how like you're saying that it
Mm.
doesn't make sense half the time, or like
Mm.
there's no reasoning where like some things is just
Yeah.
some things are obviously racing incidents, yes, but then a
Yeah.
lot of the times they just let stuff slide without any explanation,
It's not
and
with a
then
high
they
profile driver. They're like, ah, okay,
yeah, and
chalega.
then they
Yeah.
catch that
Yeah.
one from the top five and they're like, ha chal, you
Like,
will
ah,
pay for
chal. Yeah.
everybody's mistakes, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, please, we have close to 500 watching, but only 100 likes on the stream. So please like, smash it.
Stream
Guys, come
for.
on. Yeah.
Smash those
Come on,
likes. Come
guys,
on,
I'm
you can do
here
it.
with Samahan, yeah. It's
Smash,
like
smash
Yes.
those
at
likes
least
gently, though, so that you don't cause any lasting damage and you can continue on in the race. Okay, just
Yes. Somebody already
gently tap.
said that Lance actually injured his wrist by smashing like on this stream only.
oh.
Oh, very
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
gently tap a light. Don't have to smash or anything. As somebody also Gulchan says Hulkenberg in P5 in a Sauber cooked with this one. Yeah, where I mean
Superb,
safety car
dude.
That is
obviously
just
worked out well for
wild.
them.
Yeah, but that was so crazy.
And just
And
having the
also
outright
because
pace
Hulkenberg got,
to
yeah, Hulkenberg got eliminated in Q1 itself. He had fresh sets of softs for the whole race. So when he came
Mm,
on after
yeah,
the safety car, he
yeah,
had
yeah.
a fresh
yeah,
set of softs. Yeah, so he was like, he was flying. Yeah, and these upgrades to Sauber that they brought here, I think they brought them to Monaco as well, but they like you can't
hmm,
really see it anything in Monaco.
yeah,
Like really seemed to be working. Like there were some, I mean, there were some moments where they were cutting to Matteo Binotto in the
yeah,
garage, and I'm like, this guy must be licking his lips. Like something is happening over here, and at the cost of Williams, for
Yeah.
example,
yeah.
who typically this season we have seen take advantage of
Um,
such situations and
Science
be
first
right
time
there,
without
like
points ever at Spain.
Yeah, he's
at
always had, yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
unfortunate
like
for
But it's
him.
a
crazy, like
bad
so
race
great.
for him. Even
For
Colapinto
both,
was like terrible. Like, not didn't move at all. Like, as in there was no
nothing, nothing.
this.
Gasly
Mm.
also fell off towards
Interest,
the end.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting Gasly Hajar battle after the
Yeah,
night before they had posted all this like bhai
Yes,
bhai
PSG.
yeah.
photos,
Yes, yes, yes.
watching PSG game win the Champions League and everything, and next day they are like fully
Yeah.
taking each other out on track. Yeah,
But the silent
but great for
assassin
Hajar,
who,
man. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
he so keeps putting it like I think he's
But
also become that Q1, Q3 expert. No, he always ends up in
but
Q3
yeah,
every
yeah,
race.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
somehow,
yeah.
yeah,
But now
superb.
I want to ask you all something. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
gonna talk about a driver, and I want you all to kind of give me like what you think this person should be doing or thinking right now, because
Okay,
like they are in some sort of a sitch. Okay, uh,
okay.
Yuki, starting with
Oh
Yuki.
no.
I mean, the guy was also in tears, and he's just like, I don't know, Bichara is beside
Shit.
himself.
Yeah, I saw his
What does Yuki do
onboard.
now?
Yeah, because I saw his onboard of the lap that he did, which got knocked out in Q1,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Hmm.
I couldn't really point to any major driver error. It's just the car was not giving him what he needed. The car just kept going
Hmm.
wide wherever he was going.
Hmm.
So I, I think it's a combination of many things. I think it's the car not being optimal. It's the driver also not having the full confidence, and I think the car is, let's be real, 3 tenths slower than the McLarens. Max brings some of his
Two
driving
tenths.
ability to it
Yeah.
and brings like a tenth and a half and brings them between tenth and a half to 2 tenths behind there. But Yuki doesn't have the confidence, so I think he loses sort of another 3 tenths. And then I think just it's like confidence makes your, like, how they say you make your own luck. And when
Yeah.
you're confident, you like things you're pushing, things just sort of go your way. But then again, there's that negativity. There's the thing of, oh, it's not happening. The team also not being able to get things right. So it just feels like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a clear sort of second disadvantage to the front of the field, and that's just not good enough. I mean, there hasn't been a single race where the second Red Bull has been anywhere part
Even
of the
close.
equation.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah,
it's,
it's really
yeah,
bad.
it's
And
very, it's mystifying
But
really.
what does this mean for his future, guys? Like, you think this is he's done now? Like, because
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
graveyard for all of these
it's
guys.
going terribly. I mean, like, it's not
yeah.
anymore like a, oh, let's see. It's like
I
just
think Red Bull may have to answer a little bit more of an existential question around the way the car drives. And
hmm,
it reminds me of something from MotoGP actually. And in Mark Marquez used to ride for the Repsol Honda team. Now he's in Ducati.
hmm,
And 2018, 19, he was so freaking dominant. He had like these insanely dominant world championships with Danny Pedrosa, his teammate at the time. And Danny would be a regular. He was kind of like Checo in those first few years, where it's like,
yeah,
he's kind of competitive, minister of defense type of thing, but never really a serious threat. And soon the gap between Marquez and Pedrosa started widening as Honda started making the bike closer towards Mark's more. It's
yeah,
so crazy that his name is Mark and this guy's Max.
Hmm.
Like,
yeah,
the sort of riding style
yeah,
of Mark, which was very pointy, which is very like how Alex Albon described it, very
yeah,
high
yeah,
sensitivity
yeah,
type of
Yeah.
situation. And then Mark Marquez has this bad accident, okay, and he has to get his arm fixed and everything. And other riders come into this bike that was dominant in the hands of Mark Marquez. But then Repsol Honda has never since then been able to come back to that level of dominance. And
hmm,
it kind of this is sort of that existential question about where this sort of car is heading, like in terms
Yeah.
of, because it's so close maybe to Max's driving style and nobody else is able to sort of get to grips with it in a post Max era. If they
yeah,
continue sort of in this sort of path, where is this car going to be?
I think
Is it
that's
even
why
like you're
it is
saying
like that.
3/10 behind
yeah,
or whatever,
yeah,
It's
like,
yeah,
because it's the
yeah,
final
yeah,
season of these regulations. I think
yeah,
that's why they're just like, we're committing to this. So whoever
to
that
this, yeah,
second driver is for this season was always
is
going to
gonna
be that sort
suffer.
of sacrificial lamb
yeah.
who's going to be like, listen, you just
Okay.
do what you can. But then in that case, why did you not just keep Checo?
Exactly.
Because
Then what is the
Yeah,
in
point? He was better
yeah,
than
retrospect
them at
yeah,
now, yeah,
least.
he was doing the
Yeah.
yeah,
best job
yeah.
out of all. And
Or
again,
even
sorry,
just
Checo
stick with
bhai,
Lawson.
Yeah.
but
I
Or
mean, they
even
gave
just
Lawson,
stick
Laws,
with
Barely,
Lawson.
but
But
they
I
barely
mean,
gave
Yuki
Lawson a
is
chance. Yeah,
exactly. You just
exactly.
gave Lawson 3 races. You've given Yuki way more races. And Yuki,
Yeah.
I mean, I like him very, like, he's so capable. You kind of feel like if he was in the Racing Bulls right now, he would be probably closer to Hadjar than Lawson is to Hadjar, if not
Yeah.
above
Yeah.
Hadjar, because he
yeah.
knew that car already.
True.
So there's no denying his pace or whatever. And but then it's really more about the car, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you see, and just like Azim is saying that, like, last season or whatever, then why even take that
Why do
call? But
it?
like,
Yeah, I don't know.
They're
I
just
It
suppose it's
sucking
all
for
for
honestly is like
drivers.
a,
Netflix, guys. It's all for Netflix.
yeah. Okay,
That's
chal.
what if.
Yuki's done. What about Norris now? What are your
Norris,
thoughts on where he is
guys.
right now?
I mean, it's still very tight at the top. So again, it just takes one bad race. And I mean, listen, for everything good we've said about Oscar,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
have
But
been
as in,
races
you
when he's
think
dropped off quite
mentally he
badly.
is there?
Yeah, I don't see why not at
Yeah.
all. Because he still ended up finishing
I
second.
mean,
What, like, I mean, discounting safety car, he was like 5 seconds behind Oscar in a race where he
yeah.
was stuck
And
at
with
third for
Monaco,
most of it.
Monaco seemed like a really good win.
Yeah.
So we're like, probably he's on the up and up and like he's
Yeah.
making a comeback. So there's no, uh, I don't know if this race was indicative enough, apart from the start, where you're like, he's not a serious challenger. But I also kind of feel, Sherry, that there's something. So next year, the whole regulations are going to change, right?
Hmm.
And who knows where McLaren would be?
That's
Okay,
true.
like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never know where, like,
yeah.
the regulations change, the whole pecking order suddenly. Sauber, Mattia Binotto, I don't know, for Rowan Joshi's sake, like, is like, winning podiums or whatever as Audi or whatever. So also both of these McLaren drivers have to believe that this year
This is the
specifically,
last shot.
20,
Yeah.
it could be, you know
It could,
how like fickle fucking
yeah,
F1 is?
that's
Like
true.
Nico Hulkenberg has driven so many races, not had a freaking podium. You know,
Yeah.
Jensen Button drove for so many seasons without a world championship, got a world championship, and then never was able to win a world championship again. Nico Rosberg drove his whole career when he won his world championship. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and so I also kind of feel there's this added pressure that this year, like, could be the last year of all. Like, could be like there's a non-zero chance that McLaren is not as competitive with the new regulations, and it takes another 8 years or something to get back. And by that time, who knows where Norris and Piastri are? So that other dimension also, I kind of feel is playing on Norris way more than it is playing with this other kid who's only in his third season in F1. You know, whereas Norris has
That's
been
true.
around. It's like the
Yeah. Yeah.
expectation is if
Yeah.
this is the year that McLaren can win the Drivers' Championship, then it should be Norris's year. But,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
the
yeah, but
Aussie
even
begs to differ.
just
Yeah.
from race to race, it's so difficult. Like we keep thinking each other now
That's
as
true.
Piastri,
Yeah.
Piastri's got it down. Then
Reverse,
suddenly
yeah,
Lando
yeah,
puts it
yeah.
on pole, Lando
I
wins
was
the
just
race.
like, yeah,
Then we're like, Arey,
wins the race.
Piastri is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
man,
Yeah.
too good. Next race, Verstappen puts it on pole, wins the race.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it's just
Which is very interesting given how, if you just look at the results, how boring this season is turning out to be. Like, this is Oscar Piastri's like fifth win in 7 races, and McLaren like if you were just to go with like, you know,
Yeah.
the race results as indicative of
yeah.
how interesting this season is compared to some of the, you know, previous seasons we've
Yeah,
had.
but again, you just
But
don't
it
know
is
from
turning
race
out to
to
be
race.
race by race. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
it's as the great modern poet Hanuman kind once said, the only
Mm.
thing that's promised is that promises are broken.
Uh,
Mm.
So expect the unexpected. Uh,
Bars, bro, bars. Bars.
Bars.
Bars.
This place that Verstappen
Yeah.
needs to go and chill out for a little while after this race.
For some gin and tonics. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else have we not? I think, yeah, Alonso we've discussed. He was so happy with
Uh,
his lap in qualifying also. He's going, wee, amazing.
mm,
And then he ends up
yeah.
yeah.
10th
Ooh, yeah.
after all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It was
But
good to see
yeah,
him positive at least.
yeah,
Good to
but
see
yeah, good
Charles
to
on
see
the
him.
podium also. I
Yeah, I
mean,
was
he
saying
got
he's
lucky
the
with the
silent
safety car,
assassin.
but yeah, but I mean, like, good to kind of see something happening there.
Yeah, so he's
100%. And
used
he's
to
had
the
two podiums back to
betrayal,
back,
na.
like Monaco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So he's
yeah.
used to the
Yeah.
sadness and the betrayal of Ferrari. So now
Yeah.
I think he's just learned how to just hang on and just be
Yeah. He's like,
there
I'm
and
on the
something
right
will show
tires.
up.
Max is on the wrong tires. Wow. You know,
Yeah,
like how has this like a
yeah,
multiverse of like you know, strategy cock-ups happened in the
yeah.
other direction? Yeah.
But it's so weird, no? Like it's such a inherently Ferrari thing where even in a driver who
Yeah.
finishes third, you just see sadness in their eyes when they're
Sadness.
on the podium.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah, yeah.
which
Hamilton is
driver
a
it
broken
is.
man right now, dude.
Yeah,
And like yeah, he won a sprint race. Like
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's not
yeah.
anywhere good enough. But it'll be interesting to see
Mm.
how they do in Canada now,
Canada.
no? The
Mm.
geographical race that makes so much sense. Uh, to, to leave from Spain, go to Canada,
Yeah.
and then
North.
ये
come back
बाजू
to
बाजू
Then
में
come
तो
back to
है.
Austria. Come
come
back to
back to
Austria.
It's
Yeah.
it's just the stupidest thing in the world. But yeah,
Aramco presents, guys. Aramco presents.
Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, or as I now
Mm.
know him, Gilles Verville,
Mm.
because that's what he's called in that indie racing game I've been playing called New Star GP. So they
Where they
just use
couldn't afford
fake,
the rights.
yeah, they can't
Yeah.
don't have the
Yeah.
rights, so they call them fake names: Gilles Verville, Michael Simbacher,
Well,
just yeah,
ah, hilarious.
so
Hilarious.
some random Mika Happinen and all is there. It's good fun. I highly recommend for people. I've recommended it in the stream
Which game
before,
is
and then
this?
people messaged me also. It's called New Star GP. It's like costs like 300 $400. You can play it on
Mm.
Steam with like doesn't need any major. I think it's
Anything.
on
Yeah.
mobile also now, and
Okay.
it's very fun. It's like a nice.
You
And
play
they've
with a
basically
controller
taken, yeah, controller, and they've
or with
taken like
wheel?
old
Ah.
school tracks, and like so you play through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And as you keep going, the cars keep getting faster, and the track layouts and all also keep changing in accordance
Oh,
that
cool.
decade. And there's like tire strategy,
We'll
and
check
then
it
you
out.
have a pit crew. Your pit engineer will randomly be like, "Hey, I'm not feeling well," so now you just have to manage without him for the weekend and do manual pit stops. And all your pit stops are 16 seconds. It's damn good fun. Very cool. It's got
Mm,
one of those. It's got a game. It's a game that's got lots of charm to it. So I enjoy it. I've played on the flight on the way
we'll
to the
check it
UK.
out.
It's a lot of fun. There's that. I think that about covers it. Smash a like, friends, if you have enjoyed the stream. And as always, if you're new, please subscribe. And if you know people who enjoy this type of chill, random conversation about F1 and want to sort of get into it in a nice, accessible way, send them over here. We're close to 7,000 subs now. It's guys, we have to make it
Oh,
10,000
Come
by the
on,
end of this season. We gotta
10,000.
do it. We're already at 15K on Instagram, which is amazing. And predictions, of course, have to be done. That's the most. That's why we do the stream. All this
oh
F1 talking
no.
and all is just for time pass. But predictions. It's in 2 weeks, no, Canada?
Yeah, yeah, 2 weeks from
Yeah.
now.
It's in two
And again,
weeks.
like Canada is one of those annoying that the North American time zone where it's like,
Oh,
probably at like 1:30,
Mm.
2 o'clock or whatever in the night.
oh God, it'll
One
be
of
Dubai
those.
for me. It'll be 4 a.m. or something. God. Uh, oh no, it'll be
Okay,
actually, it'll be more tolerable. It'll be like 10 p.m. Okay, what are we saying for who's going first, guys? I went
okay.
first last week,
Uh,
and we saw
Arjun
how
is
I'll go.
ready.
well
Come
that
I'll
on.
go.
went.
I'm saying because I've already predicted the greatest comeback of all time.
Oh
I'm saying
no.
it's
Oh,
going to be
oh.
a rainy, wet race in Canada. Okay.
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 And those are the tastiest. The wet races in
Okay.
Canada
Yeah, they're the
are the
best.
best
Yeah.
races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Alonso is going to be on the podium, guys. I'm saying it. That's my
Oh
wild
my
prediction
God.
and my other prediction as well. The race winner, I'm saying Max Verstappen comes back with added kunnas this time, and he's going
Mm.
to win the race. And P2 will be Lando Norris. And third is Fernando Alonso, and fourth is
Whoa,
Oscar
whoa, whoa,
Piastri.
whoa,
This
whoa,
is,
whoa, whoa.
yeah,
Wild.
Oh,
guys,
oh.
guys,
Wow.
taking no
Uh,
prisoners this time with my commitment to the man himself. Mm.
okay,
Steady.
I am going to say,
Oh, you go.
I'll
Yeah.
go
Mm,
Go.
second this time.
mm,
I'm going to say we're going to have a Ferrari winning this race through some freak accident. Some safety car or something will be caused at some point, and
mm.
which will work out. There'll be one of whichever driver it is will be miserable about the strategy he's been put on. ये क्या बकवास है ये पिट नहीं कर रहा है मेरे को ये nonsense hard tire. Suddenly one
Yeah.
safety car comes and then
Oh,
changes the game completely. So it's going to be a Ferrari
superb.
who wins. Then behind that, there will be two McLarens. And there will
Mm.
be one rookie who will put it in the wall of champions. One rookie.
Ooh, only one rookie.
Only
Hello.
one
I
rookie.
feel like
That
it
will
could be
cause the
more.
safety car.
Yeah.
But one
I should
rookie is
definitely
going to
have a
do it.
Oh.
safety car. Yeah.
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 One rookie is going to
Yeah.
put it in the wall of champions.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna
Steady.
feed off both your predictions and obviously wet race,
Mm.
Ferrari
Of
winning, and
course.
of
Of
course my
course.
main man is gonna win. Lewis Hamilton
I'll
is gonna
turn
win.
that frown upside down.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the sky is gonna be crying with the rain. It's gonna be dramatic.
We're just
And
saying Lewis just loves the rain, so nobody can see his tears.
Yeah.
and then obviously we have Piastri in second because he's my next favorite, and I would like him to win the championship amongst
Mm.
the others.
Mm.
And I'm gonna throw in Hajar in third because I'm really
Whoa.
liking him and I'm feeling like he's deserves a podium. Like he's been doing really
Mm.
well. And so obviously there'll be some Max Lando, hash out
This is
or
every
push out
prediction.
or
For
shove
your
out
every
or
race
whatever.
prediction is the same.
But
Yeah.
see the pushing and shoving has begun, Arjun. It's
Yeah.
happening
Yeah.
now.
Right.
So
Right.
so now it's legit. It's not even wild anymore. It could
Mm.
happen.
So
And
basically, all three of us are predicting utter chaos in
Yeah.
Canada.
chaos,
Like
yeah,
some
yeah.
either rain, safety car, crashes. Yeah, it's going to be
And of
mad.
course,
Okay, fair
casually,
enough.
we've already mentioned that Sebastian Vettel will be the second driver
With
for
the
Red
second
Bull.
driver,
So
yeah. Hello,
we
yeah.
already,
I
this
know,
is
yeah.
fact. We're not
This,
even
this is
disputing this,
fact. Not
guys.
even,
Just
yeah,
tell everybody you know.
Yeah.
that you
And
heard it here
and
first.
Russell will be sitting there in P4, P5.
Oh,
Both, of course, he is. That's his
okay.
job to sit and wait for something to happen.
What happened? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is again, it was this only,
Yeah.
Russell
But
hanging about,
actually, if
okay,
it's a
sit nikha.
chaotic race, then Russell doesn't. Like when it's a normal race and like one, two things happen, then
Yeah,
Russell
Yeah.
gets. If it's a
yeah.
chaotic race,
No,
then
no, but
he's
he'll be there sitting like fourth,
he's
fifth
there
में
as a
उसने he's
50.
booked his jagah and kept it now. I mean,
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
fair
all right.
enough.
Can't wait to see how these turn out. Come
Oh
on,
no.
Insta fam, we're here for you.
Yeah.
All right, chalo. Smash likes before you leave. Oh, quick update before going. I have three shows in the Middle East: Bahrain,
Yeah.
Muscat, and Dubai on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of this month. You can come for that. Mumbai on the 28th. Both shows are sold out. Have been for a week. And yes, that is more or less it. If you have friends in these places, please tell them. Anyone has anything else they need to plug. Any new gigs you are doing,
buy tickets
Arjun?
for our screening.
Ah, yes, of course. That too we've
Mm.
mentioned. All the links are in the description. You can check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Chalo, milte hain soonly. If you're in Manchester, I might be doing some random things at a comedy club called Creatures of the Night Comedy on the 4th and 5th of this month. This is the day after and the day after that. So if you're around, aja, I'll be around there. And yeah, that's about it. Cool. Chalo. Thank you, friends. See you soon. Thank you for watching the side pod. Hopefully, we'll be back next time
Peace
with one
out.
Rohan Joshi also. And yes, see you soon. Okay. Goodbye.